Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. So today I kind of have a different style podcast, we'll say. And I wanted to give you guys a heads up that it was going to be different because it's different. So I want you guys to be prepared. So what I'm talking about today is nervous system regulation. So I'm going to talk about this because it's becoming a hot topic, and for good reason. And so, like, first, that's what I'm going to discuss. After I discuss that, I'm going to be leaning into the reset experiences that I'm offering here in the DR. So this is partially to talk to you about nervous system regulation, but it's also partly to get you familiar with this offering in case you're interested. You guys listen to my podcast, you might be interested in coming over here and doing some nervous system regulation with me in person here. So first, we want to talk about nervous system regulation. So basically, it's becoming more and more. This shirt, man, I like this shirt, but it's kind of weird. If I button it, it's too tight, or you know. But if I don't, it feels like it's all open. All right, I'll live. See, I'm human. Weird stuff. It feels weird. Anywho, so nervous system regulation. Yeah, we're becoming more and more aware as a society, right? And about ourselves and how we're working. And you know, I've caught myself reminding people a lot lately that we've only lived at the pace and the style that we're living at now for about, maybe 100 years or so. And I mean, even 100 years ago, now we're talking, 1926. Things were pretty different back then. It was a lot slower paced, right? So, but let's just round it off. We'll say the last 100 years, it's kind of been fairly similar to what we're living at now. And the speed is obviously increasing as time goes on. So what people are doing, they think that there's something wrong with them because they're struggling in their lives, right? And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with the pace of life. This is extremely unnatural, the way that most people live, especially in developed countries. It's just not normal. It's not the way we're designed to live. And it's not how we have lived. Humans have been on the planet for what, like 100,000 years? And only in the last 100 have we been attempting to go at this pace. And we're getting more and more dysfunctional. We're having more diseases take over our bodies. We're having more burnout. We're having more anxiety. We're having more stress. We're having more. And it's a direct correlation to the way we're trying to live our lives. It's simply unnatural to attempt for human beings to live like this. It completely disconnected from themselves. Very minimal healthy community interactions. Really not even capable of having healthy relationships. I mean, most people aren't even talking to people in their family or long-term friends they've cut out of their lives. We can't even get along with the people we've known our whole lives. We're completely disconnected from other people, completely disconnected from ourselves, completely disconnected from source. We have almost no downtime. So there's no time. For 100,000 years, human beings have had time to contemplate, to sit in stillness, to spend quiet time and one-on-one time with loved ones. It's just not like that anymore, and we keep trying to adjust ourselves. We're like, geez, I must have a hormone imbalance. I'm gonna have to take a pill because I'm having trouble functioning like this. It's like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with the way you're trying to function. I woke up 22 years ago. I was a parent. As soon as I woke up spiritually, my kid was already here, so I'm trying to figure out how to be a parent, deal with family court stuff with my ex-wife, find out what I want to do for a living, start my own business. Like I had periods of time where I was busy, but I was always trying to meditate, stay connected spiritually. I was trying to do all that stuff like on a daily basis, right? And it helped, but I still went too fast. And that's with me attempting to slow down and live a balanced spiritual life on a daily basis, and I was still going too fast. Most people aren't trying to slow themselves down. They're trying to catch up and speed up, So like it's dysfunctional. So like there's many problems with it. That's the big picture. So now what does that have to do with nervous system regulation? Well, we are in a constant state of fight or flight because of stress. Because when we're living at this fast pace and we don't have time to relax and wind down and reset and move at a slower pace and interact with things that touch our heart and that are important to us and that ground us. When we don't do those things, there's all kinds of repercussions that happen. We think we just need food and water and shelter to survive. No, we don't. There's lots of other things that we need to survive. Otherwise, we go crazy or we get sick and die. We develop diseases. We get burned out and curl up in a ball drooling in a corner. Like if that's where people are ending up, then you're doing something wrong with your life, right? So the reason is because we're being pushed into fight or flight. Constant stress is constant fight or flight. That's what stress does, is it induces the fight or flight mode. So we're constantly in panic. And part of the reason why it induces disease and other problems is because it lowers our immune system. That's what stress does. When they're going to transplant an organ into somebody, like a heart transplant or a liver transplant, they inject them with stress hormones. Why? Because it lowers your immune system so much. It's so effective at lowering your immune system that the body will not attack the foreign organ. So it has time to set and so they lower your immune system by injecting stress hormones. So much so that they can take somebody else's heart, stick it in you, and the body doesn't even do anything. It's like, yeah, whatever, man. It can't even fight it as a foreign body in your body because it's so lowered. So this is at the constant state we're in. So that's how it affects our immune system. And it affects our nervous system, constantly being in fight or flight. See, our fight or flight used to be originally for danger, like a bear coming at you or something, life-threatening danger. Now we experience stress that pushes us into fight or flight over every little thing because we've kind of gotten rid of most of the physical danger on a daily basis compared to somebody living in prehistoric times. Compared to a caveman, we don't have a lot of physical danger on a daily basis. So like most of it's gone. So like what pushes us into fight or flight now is just stressful things, because we're not in control of our mind and our ego, which is pushing us into fight or flight. So what happens is, if you're planning on getting a particular thing for dinner and they don't have it and that anxiety shoots up, that's stress, that's fight or flight. It's pushing you there. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, that does it. You don't know if you're going to finish your work that the boss put on your desk by the end of the day. Huge increase in anxiety and stress. Like you're running late for an appointment. All these daily life things that happen all the time because we're moving too fast, expecting too much of ourselves, is constantly keeping our nervous system in go mode. Right. And you can't just, like, if it's just doing that, it's like, it's momentum. It's going. And you can't just sit there and say, hey, nervous system, stop. Because it's like, what? Like, it's constantly engaged. It doesn't know how to stop. Like, it doesn't know what you mean when you say stop. Like, it hasn't technically really stopped through you consciously stopping it for years, decades, who knows, so we're really not in control of ourselves, and that's the nervous system is just we're constantly on edge. So we need to regulate that. We need to stop that. It I mean, it ain't fun. On top of all the health issues and the problems it causes in relationships, and just staying calm and peaceful throughout your life, like it just wreaks havoc on every area of our lives. So it's important for us to do these resets. And to me, I kind of look at it like gyms. Like 50 years ago, well, like when I was growing up in a small town in Massachusetts, there was no gyms. Like, not when I was a little kid. Like, I remember I joined the first gym in our town. I believe it was called Body Form. And it was in this old building that they probably leased for cheap. And all the equipment was hand welded by probably somebody in town. So they built these pulley systems and for different exercises, and welded them together, and benches and all this stuff. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was kind of like a real gym, like you kind of see today. But back then it was handmade. This was like 1983, 84. So, and it started picking up after that. But my point is like, there's a gym on every corner now, right? Like, why? Well, it's because we need them. Like, we don't get any exercise in our daily life anymore. Like, that's one thing I like around here. I like doing things, using my body to carry something, or, like just naturally using my body to stay in shape. I enjoy that because it's, I don't know. I just enjoy it. But all that's been removed out of our lives. We don't wash our clothes by hand. We don't walk anywhere. We don't so basically we get no exercise. So we've had to replace that with gyms, whether you're going and lifting weights, or walking on a treadmill, or taking a Pilates class, or a yoga class, or a kickboxing class, or a Tai Chi class. It doesn't matter. You have to go somewhere and do something now. Why? Because it's not part of our life. Just our daily life. Exercise isn't part of our daily life. So we have to supplement it by going somewhere and doing something specific with the intention of exercising. Like, if you were to, go to human beings like 500 years ago and say, hey, I'm going to build a gym and make all this equipment, and we're going to be able to go exercise. They'd be like, huh? For what? Be like, so your body stays healthy. Be like, my body is healthy. Like, I use it every day. Now we don't. So we need to supplement that. It's the same thing with our nervous system. Okay. Our nervous system is constantly under stress. So we need to do something to reset it. We can't change the pace of the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hey, if you can quit your job and move to some intentional community, or, buy a little plot of land and live in a tiny home or something and completely de-stress your life, thumbs up, go for it, do it. I did it, highly recommend it. But I didn't quit my job. But most people can't do that. So we need to incorporate these nervous system resets first, because like you're not going to get control of it most likely just attempting to here and there. But you can do an initial reset, like, in who knows, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, whatever. It's a heck of a lot easier to take yourself out of your environment, put yourself into a different environment where you don't have all the same stimuli going on and distractions, and where things are much more simple, surrounded by nature, doing an actual nervous system reset, getting that baseline to calm, and then going back into your life and trying to maintain that. Okay. But through practices, through doing specific things, breath work, and, different things. So this is why I created this nervous system reset experience. I live at the top of a mountain in the Dominican Republic, man. Surrounded by nature. I can go sit in the river for 3 hours if I want, or take a little lazy river, on a float down for an hour and 45 minutes, or just go hiking. And there's no wild animals around here. I don't have to, some people don't know that. In Dominican Republic, there's no like dangerous animals in the wild. There's no like crocodiles, alligators. There's no bears. There's no lions or tigers, or there's nothing that's going to attack you out here. So you can just go out in nature and relax, So, plus we've got the beach right here, so, and I've got a lot of other peaceful experiences around here. There's a large spiritual community close by. I mean, in my reset experiences, I doubt we're going to do a group activity down there. But hey, if I find one that I think is appropriate, we could include it. But my point is coming over here to do a reset. It's a complete disconnection from everything that you have ever known. And it's safe, and it's peaceful, and it's beautiful. And if we're interacting with people, they're way more friendly than most places. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful place, and some of the things that like I'm going to do and help you with this stuff is intentional breathing. I'm just looking at my notes now. We're going to do some intentional breathing techniques and stuff like that. Some things that we can do together while we're here, and then learning a few techniques that you can do kind of in the heat of the moment at home if you need to, and you're feeling stressed, to do a quick reset. Time in nature is big. I just kind of, looked up some stuff, so I had some notes to go by, and what it says is time in nature, being around trees, water, mountains, or natural environments can reduce mental overload and help regulate the body's stress response. That's literally the description of where I live. Periods of silence, stepping away from constant noise, media, and stimulation gives the nervous system space to settle and recover. See, this is what I'm offering over here. Mindful movement. Yes, we'll be doing some mindful movement. Quality sleep and rest. Hey, I don't know how much I can control how you sleep. but you're probably going to sleep better over here. Chances are, in a more peaceful, quiet environment, when you're resetting your nervous system, you're probably going to sleep better, right? But one thing that we can control is rest. You're not going to be going at the pace you are over there. There's going to be time for stillness, so your body, your mind, and your nervous system can simply rest, right? Meditation and presence practices. Yes, absolutely. I've got several techniques on how to practice staying present in your environment, in your daily life, where we'll learn and practice over here, and you can take those back with you. Healthy human connection, meaningful conversations, supportive relationships, and a sense of belonging help create feelings of safety and regulation to your nervous system. Do you see? I love this stuff. Grounding techniques, bringing awareness to the body, the breath, or the senses can interrupt stress patterns and restore balance. So they're just talking about grounding kind of like energetically, but we're going to combine that with grounding with the earth. If you're not familiar with that, look up grounding and earthing, right? They've got a lot of scientific proof and evidence on that. So like we're going to be in nature where we can actually touch the ground, in the river, in the grass, in the dirt, in the sand on the beach, in that, like where our skin can be in contact with Mother Earth. Like that's a big part of it too. It calms us. Geez, it's almost like I wrote this. Reducing sensory overload. Limiting excessive screen time, notifications, multitasking, and constant input can help prevent nervous system fatigue. Yes, we're going to basically remove all that. I'm going to take care of everything. There's nothing you need to think about. I'll pick you up at the airport. I'll bring you over here. I'll get you settled in. I'm with you 24/7, basically. So like there's nothing you need to figure out or do. Everything's taken care of for you. Cold or contrast exposure. I'm not sure if we're going to do that. We may. It is helpful. Time without an agenda. Again, what I just said, allowing a period of unstructured rest, reflection, or simply being can help the body exit a constant state of doing and striving. Gratitude and positive reflection. See, all this type of stuff, this is all the type of stuff that we're going to be doing over here. And we're going to be merging these things with the natural environment that I'm so gifted to live around. So I've got it all right here. So we can do these things in peaceful environments. Like I guess I don't want to call it private beaches because it sounds like somebody owns it and privatized it. That's not what I'm talking about. Like we have beaches over here that are private, but they're not actually technically private. It's just that nobody's on them, right? Like we can go out to the beach where there's no other people here. It's beautiful. So yeah, so this is what I'm talking about as far as nervous system regulation tools, how they're available over here, how I'm going to walk you through them, and teach you all these things. And like I said, the idea is to get a complete reset. Think of the word reset. It's just stop, reset everything to a new baseline. And then when you go back to your life, then all you have to do is spend a little bit of energy each day trying to maintain that. Now, how effective you are at that is up to your experience, and it's also up to your life. If your life is a complete nightmare where you're going 24/7 like a crazed maniac, you're going to do a reset, and probably in a short period of time, you're going to be a lunatic again. I mean, what do you, you can't live like that, do nothing about it, and expect to be peaceful. Like, this is not, I mean, if somebody wants to come over and do a reset and then just go back to Crazyville just for a break, okay, fine. That's your call. I'll do my work over here. That's all I can do. What you do when you go home, that's up to you, but my point is if you create a new baseline while you're here, you're going to have a lot more luck maintaining that baseline once you get back home, if you put a little bit of effort into it, than if you don't do the initial reset at all. If you just try to, like it's like you've got a sports car going 100 miles an hour in one direction. You can't just instantly be going in the opposite direction, or you can't instantly be stopped. You have to hit the brakes, and it takes you a few minutes to get to a complete stop, right? So that's what we're doing when we come over here. We're hitting the brakes, and we're coming to a complete stop and holding you there for a little bit. Then you go back to your life and you start hitting the gas a little bit again. And hopefully you take your foot off the gas. Oh, whoa. Oh, I'm getting out of control. I got to slow down, maintain myself, stay in control a little bit more. Okay, I'll hit the gas a little bit more. Okay, slow down a little bit more, and just do, a little breathing exercise or a little presence exercise, or just little things that you can do here and there throughout your day to help maintain that baseline, so your nervous system doesn't go into fight or flight overload again, So yeah, that I think I covered. I was trying to give an overview of nervous system resets, a general idea of why I'm saying that. I wanted to tie in. I didn't want to say, hey, come over here for a nervous system reset. And you go, well, how's going over there going to be any different than anywhere else? Or what am I going to do? Go over there and go swimming in the river and expect everything to be okay? It's like, no, we're going to have some things that are specifically targeted to reset your nervous system. So I wanted to give you some ideas of the methodology and how we're blending them into the natural environment here. So hopefully I did that. So yeah, that was basically what I wanted to cover with that portion of the podcast. So now I'm just gonna, I guess it's a little kind of like infomercial time or something. I'm going to try to tell you a little bit more about the experience that I'm offering. So I'll just read the post to you guys because, I put it together in a certain way for a reason. I'm opening up a limited number of private reset experiences here in the mountains of the Dominican Republic. This is not a resort vacation or highly structured retreat. It's designed for people who feel mentally overloaded, disconnected, emotionally exhausted, or simply stuck in the same patterns and environment for too long. The experience combines mountain and river environments, hiking and waterfall experiences, beach day options, nervous system regulation, insightful conversations, spiritual and energetic work with me, deep one-on-one guidance and perspective shifts with me, complete separation from routine and overstimulation. So I'm just going to, most of it's pretty self-explanatory. I want to expand on a couple things. The deep one-on-one guidance and perspective shifts, like that is basically what I do with my one-on-one clients. While you're here, we might as well take advantage of it, right? We're going to be talking about something. We might as well be talking about your life and helping you develop techniques and tools through a spiritual advising / life coaching perspective of somebody that's been doing it for a long time to get you guys to work through whatever specific things you have going on in your life, whether it's relationship, business, financial, whatever is going on in your life that you want to work through and go back home with a healthier outlook and a plan for to either navigate or deal with better or something like that. We're going to include all that. I'm going to give you as much as I can. Anybody that knows me, this is how I am. I'm going to give, while you're here, I'm going to try to help you in absolutely any way that I can help you. Of course, there's structure and there's some nature that things that we're going to be doing and nervous system regulations that we're going to be doing, but we're going to be around each other. So we might as well work through all your stuff as well. So that's going to be really helpful, I think, for people. And the other thing that I wanted to expand on a little bit is it says insightful conversations, spiritual and energetic work. So what I mean by that is I don't do a lot of energy work like Reiki type stuff in my business now, but I've been attuned to Reiki for, I don't even know how long. 15 years, something like that. So I can do Reiki and also and will. And also, when I was at that stage of my journey where I got Reiki attuned and was doing Reiki on a regular basis and stuff like that, I actually was, I'm not going to get into the whole story of why, but basically I was gifted with this other ability to do this different energetic healing that somebody told me about. And then I went and did these meditations and then started practicing with people and developed this unique energetic work that I do. And it's called spiritual encoding. Instead of Reiki energy, it works with the violet flame energy. But it's still just energy. It's just more powerful. So what I've done, those sessions can be pretty long. Sometimes they go easily 2 hours. Sometimes I think they went 3 or 4, hours. So basically what it is it kind of encompasses everything that I've done throughout my whole life. I think that's why it was kind of gifted to me to be able to do this, is because a lot of my personal training and life coaching and even sponsoring people when I was real deep in the recovery community, all that, I had to learn to talk to people and guide the conversations and find out about them and find out about things. And so it starts with that. And some people are aware of the root cause of things, and some people are aware of something a little bit above, and through conversation we get deeper and find out the root. So once we get clear on the root, something that needs to be shifted inside, we get clarity on what needs to be shifted, what the old belief system is and or trauma is, and then we basically get clear on what you would like to replace it with. And this energy work goes right into the DNA. So what we do is we basically, once we get clarity on that stuff, then you just lay down and we start doing the energy work, kind of like a Reiki session. And I remove, with the violet flame energy, I remove this, the deep-seated belief systems out and recode a new one in. And it's pretty powerful, man. It's I haven't been doing it for a little while, but it's energy work. It's right there whenever you need it. But when I was doing it regularly, I saw some really profound transformations. Sexual abuse as children, and it was completely a non-issue after one session. It was just mind-blowing. So So I'm offering that as well. It's, it's a unique experience. And I think this might be the last thing I want to touch on. Or no, I think there's two more things. But my neighbor, who some of you have heard me talk about, I talked to her about these reset experiences, and I thought it would be good to offer some Cambo for people over here. So you can look into Cambo, but Cambo is basically frog poison. It's frog medicine. So from the Amazon, and you put little dots on, and it boosts your immune system, heightens your mental clarity, helps your vision even, gives you energy. Like it's really a detoxing experience, cleansing experience. It ain't super pleasant when you're going through it, but it only lasts for, the worst of it probably lasts about 20 minutes, maybe 30. But the whole thing, mainly it probably lasts about 45 minutes or so altogether. But it's not super pleasant, but it is super healthy. Some of you have heard me, like I've done it like multiple times, and it does work. I believe it works on the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical aspects of us. So sometimes if you need a real strong physical cleansing, most of your experience might be physical. If you need spiritual insight, sometimes you'll get that spiritual insight. If you need to purge some emotions, sometimes you'll be purging emotions. If you need mental clarity, it can help with that. So the medicine knows what you need and where to go, and it does its business with you. So like I said, I've done it several times. The most profound experience I've ever seen was my son was bedridden for 6 weeks. He had mononucleosis, Lyme disease, mumps, upper respiratory infection. I think that's it. Maybe one or two other little minor things. But he had all 4 of those things all at once. And he was bedridden. And the healthcare system and the doctors weren't helping him. Nothing was happening. So I go over, he was in Florida, and I found somebody that did Cambo. And I was like, you want to try it? He's like, yeah, I'll try anything. He did 1 session and he felt better. I was like, wow. He's like, I think it's working. And so a lot of times you do sessions in 3, but you don't have to. You probably will not over here. You'll probably just do 1 session. But he was really sick. So we started out with a small amount, and then he did a second session. And after the second session, he was literally running laps around the house and doing backflips. After the second session, he was bedridden for 6 weeks. After 3 days and 2 sessions, he was doing backflips and running around. And then we did a third one just to make sure we knocked whatever was in there out. And he's been healthy ever since. That was 3-4 years ago. Amazing. And plus we had blood tests done afterwards. No Lyme disease. I mean, that was the most profound experience I saw, So this stuff, it's good. And she also works with, if you're familiar with plant medicines, Hape and Sananga. Sananga is some drops that they put in the eye. And Rape is like a tobacco and other types of herb blend that they blow into your nose. So those are available as an add-on. It's nothing that I do. My neighbor does it. We'll have to, if you're interested in doing it, you'll let me know ahead of time. I'll make sure she's going to be here, and we'll set a time to do that. So that's an add-on. It doesn't come with it. I just wanted to let you guys know that I just talked to her about offering that the other day. So that's a new add-on that I'm offering. So that's, I guess I'll just go over, the rest of the package, which is not much left. Right now I have it set up And, like these are going to be private or small group experiences. So you're going to come over and it's just going to be me and you. So it's either one-on-one, or if you want to come with a friend or a small group, I can do that. Right. Like, but it's going to be small because it needs to be, we need to really be able to focus. I'm not doing some huge group. I want to be able to focus on you, so like really, I would probably say I might do 4 people, but anyway, whatever you want. If you have a bigger group than that, contact me. I could probably get some help and we might be able to accommodate it. See, to me, I hate having too much structure because I'm flexible and I can figure out ways to make anything work. Okay, so keep that in mind. But the way I have it structured now is 5 days, 4 nights, nervous system reset, which is 2,200. 6 days, 5 nights, grounding experience, which is 2,600. 7 days, 6 nights, deep reconnection experience, which is 3,000 per person. It includes airport pickup, accommodations, breakfast, meal every day. I'm not going to let you go hungry. We're going to have food, So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and I do have my neighbor is a chef, so I can do like vegetarian meals too if you require that. So yeah, I think that's a good overview. I think that covers everything. The rest, like I said, it's I can fill you in. Don't think twice. Shoot me an email, glenn@glennambrose.com. Make sure there's 2 N's in Glenn and 2 N's in Glenn Ambrose. Sometimes people type, oh yeah, I got to have 2 N's in Glenn. Glenn and then they'll put 1 in Glenn Ambrose. Geez, he didn't get it. So 2 N's in Glenn. Or just Google my name, go to my website, glennambrose.com, shoot me an email there. Every once in a while, those go to spam. So like if for some reason you ever email me and I don't get back to you within a couple days, like email me again, contact me on social media, whatever. It's all fair game. Don't worry about it. I have no problem with you reaching out and connecting with me. So I think that's it, and yeah, in the meantime, connect with me on social media, Facebook, I've got my personal page and my business page, Instagram, I'm on there. I have accounts on just about all of them, but those are the 2 that I'm really active on more than the others I monitor. So I would probably, recommend connecting to me on those platforms. Of course I'm on YouTube with my podcasts and stuff. And I'm going to take a moment just to put a final note for you guys, just because I can't post this podcast on Insight Timer because Insight Timer doesn't allow self-promotion, which to some degree I get. And this is definitely a self-promotion podcast, so I'm not even going to attempt to upload it there. But on that subject, it's not just self-promotion that they censor. They censor all kinds of things. Like you can't say the word suicide or refer to it. You can't talk about drinking. Like one of my podcasts got pulled off because I said that when I was a kid, we used to go out and drink a bunch of beers or something. And they're like, oh, that's censored. Like, so they censor a lot of different things. And I don't do censorship. So I just do my podcast. And whatever they want to kick off and deny, they can kick off and deny, whatever. And that's how I do it. So if you're listening to my podcast regularly, on Insight Timer and you happen to come across this one, because it ain't gonna be, they will not publish this one, I guarantee you. If you're listening to this podcast, this probably, I don't know, by now the censorship got really bad with AI. They used to do it before for a few years ago they started it, and then it got really bad with AI, because they didn't have people doing it that actually use their brain and go, well, yeah, he said the word suicide, but the context was fine, like it's not dangerous. So now they have AI doing it, and it's just dramatically worse. So there is probably, I don't know, 30 podcasts, possibly less, most likely more, that are not on Insight Timer, but they are on every other platform. If you like video, then they're on YouTube and Facebook. If you like audio, they're everywhere. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, iTunes, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, et cetera, et cetera. So like there's multiple podcasts out there that if you usually listen to me on Insight Timer, they're not there. And, but you can listen to them anywhere else. So, keep that in mind. If you want to keep up with the podcast and you want to hear all of them, you might want to follow me on a different platform. I hate saying that about a platform that I do business with, but that's just the case. I can talk about stuff and try to help people everywhere else, and I've emailed them and tried to talk to them about it, and they ain't having it. So it is what it is. To me, they're going to end up isolating themselves because of the censorship, but they think they're doing the right thing. So that's fine. So yeah, that's going to do it. So let me help you with this nervous system reset. Don't hesitate to reach out on any of the social media platforms, my email. I can give you my phone numbers on WhatsApp or a US cell number so we can text, hop on a call, talk through things, whatever. So you're comfortable with coming over with your experience. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to working with you guys in person, man. How exciting is that? That's what gets me pumped up. I can connect to people through Zoom and phone, no problem. I do it on a daily basis. But there is something about working with somebody in person, just that energetic exchange. That's special. So I'm excited to branch out into this and just really, and to bring you guys over here so you can see that, like, when I first came over here. Now, granted, I didn't travel internationally, but most people that travel internationally go to resorts, right? So you don't really know. But when I came over here and I experienced the nature and the pace of life and the happiness that people walk around in and just everything about it, I was like, I literally didn't know that there were places like this on the planet. I know that's foolish and small-minded of me, but it's just how it was. I hadn't experienced it before, And when I came over here and found out that they had places where you could walk a beach for hours and not see another person, I was like, I didn't even know you could do that. It's beautiful. And I'd love to share it with you. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm looking forward to having you over and doing some one-on-one and making that personal connection. All right. Thanks for listening, people. Peace.